All right, welcome to the Awake Space podcast, Andy Amy. I am so excited you're here. We're going to be talking feng shui, bazi, and comparing notes on current events. Welcome.
Thank you, Laurie. I'm so honored to be on your podcast. I've been watching you on TikTok and live, and I'm just like watching you grow, and myself growing as well. And so let's talk about bazi. I know a lot of people like, what the heck is bazi? It's a same as Western astrology, is it have to do? I get really weird questions from my followers. They go, well, I am Capricorn Tiger. Can you tell me about me? I'm like, no, I don't know anything about Western astrology. I always say, if you want to know Western astrology, go to Astro Laurie. She is the Western astrology. I am the Chinese astrology, the Bazi astrology. It's a very old system. Like all the astrology is an old system. It's been around for at least 3,000 years that people have been using it for a long time. And people use Bazi for a lot of different things, mainly for common folks. I call it for common folks, is for, when should I move into a house? When should I do renovation? And is this a good partner? They actually compared the Bazi chart to look for the compatibility,
right?
For the future husband and wife. So, is she going to be good for him, or is he going to be good for her, kind of thing?
Right.
Back then, now think about way back when they have what we call the arranged marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to see your groom or your bride until the wedding night, after he lifts off her red veil. Then you go, oh, this is what she looks like.
Right.
The whole time the families are arranging this whole marriage between the two young people based on the Bazi. That's it. It's based on their Chinese astrology chart. And, I guess it works. Well, back then there was no divorce, I guess. It has to work.
Right. You made it work. Right.
They'll make it work. They'll have to make it work. And so how I came into Bazi, it was back in like 2003. I was not into, this whole astrology thing was never into my radar at all. I mean, I'm born and raised in Hong Kong. I grew up in Hong Kong. Yes, I know feng shui. I know bazi. People use it constantly. People use it all the time. But for me, I'm like, nah, it's not my cup of tea. I really don't see myself doing it as I guess, a career or something like that.
Right.
I really not see myself doing it. Well, because back then, when I was growing up, all these feng shui masters, so-called, they're all these old Chinese men, white hair, long pinky nail, I'm just like, that is not what I look like. I cannot relate to that.
Right.
But it changes. And it was really funny is like how I got started is like my girlfriend, my white girlfriend. I'm not being racist, but I'm just identifying her
right.
My white girlfriend. Go, hey, Amy, you want to take a Bazi class with me? This is back in 2003. I'm like, what?
Right.
You mean they teach this class like that? What are you? I mean, I'm thinking like, is she going out of her mind? Is this a white woman? Okay. And she go, no, come take a class with me. I'm like, okay, all right. She's my friend. Okay. I'll be supportive. I'll go take the class with you. And back then in 2003, there was no software, no astrology software. So we have to do everything. All the chart has to be done by hand. We have to look it up, and then we have to put the formula in, and then with the count backward, how do we go forward? It's like, it was not easy.
Right.
And the reason she brought me to be part of her buddy classmate was because I'm good with math. So she had me come do all the chart. I'm like, oh yeah, I can crank this. I'm like, she go, wow, how can you do it so fast? I go, it's just math, just like, I figure it out. I'm good with numbers, so I'm like, plop, 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 I'm getting all this. I'm like the human computer here, popping out these charts for her. And she's good at interpretation. And
great.
It really, with Bazi chart, how you distinguish a good Bazi astrologist versus a beginner is your life experience. because there's a lot of interpretation going on, and it's how you look at the chart. Something just pops up at you. It really literally did. It's just like, oh, wow. It's like the chart will say, will speaks to you. That's how it is.
Western astrology too.
Yeah. It's like, more, it's like the longer you've been in that astrology mode, the more the chart will speak to you.
Yep.
Actually, it is part of intuition. It is life experience. And that's what makes it.
That's what makes you good. That's what is its time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what makes it. That's how you go, someone who's like not just reading, well, if you have this is going to be this. No, but if you look at that, and also I want to really get one thing across to people is Bazi astrology. It's not fated. Don't think this is my chart. This is who I am forever. This is my fate. That's it. I cannot change. No, you can. This is just like, it's like a map. Okay. It gives you guideline. It's like a little blueprint. Say, hey, you know what? These are your gifts and talents. It is up to you to do something about it. So let's just say, for example, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, at any one point, there's 30,000 other people have that same chart.
Right.
But why is there's only one Elon Musk, one Jeff Bezos? Why there's only one, Bill Gates? If you think about, if there's 29,999 person out there with the same chart, why don't they have the same result, the same lifestyle? Well, it's because how you use it.
Right.
And that's
on, just to give a quick clarification for our listeners and viewers, that's on a Bazi chart. In Western astrology, it takes about 25,000 years to replicate a chart if you have the accurate time of birth. And most people's is a little off, even on a birth certificate. But it's on the location, and there's a little difference between Chinese astrology and Western astrology. But Chinese astrology is freaking accurate also. And that's why I love it. So when you talk about your chart, Amy, what's involved in a Bazi chart? How is it different? Is there one you could share on the screen to show us what it looks like? I'll give you permission to share here.
Okay. Well, okay. So one thing now, you were saying that how Western astrology chart, it takes like 25,000 years or whatever, a long time. It's really weird with Chinese astrology. It repeats every 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is because we have what we call the 5 element and the 12 animal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of the 5 element is the wood, the fire, the earth, the metal, the water, but there's yin and yang polarity. So there's yang wood, yin wood, and then the 12 animal, which people generally know that, the horse, the dogs, the tiger, the bunny, things like that. But if you think, well, wait, there's 10 variety plus 12, that should give 120, right? But no, there's specific yin and yang polarity in the animal. So it will only, for example, monkey will always match up with a yang element.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And bunny will always match up with a yin element because bunny's yin. So bunny will always be yin. So that's why it's only 60. It's not 120. And people say, well, the 10 times 12 should be 120. No, it's because of yin yang polarity. So there is something like that. So basically today, this year, the same month and all that stuff happened in 1962. The exact same thing.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of correlations with 1962 going on right now.
Yes, that's what we have too. Yes. So let me share. Let me see what I have here. There we go. I'm going to share this one here. So, are you seeing everything, or are you seeing just the chart?
I'm seeing everything.
You're seeing everything. Okay.
And if you're listening in the podcast, if you go to the description, you can check out our YouTube channels for the visuals.
All right. So I just pulled up, it's okay on the side. I don't care on the side. You see this, but I just pull up the United States chart and the Russia chart. Okay. And people were going, oh, wait a second, how come United States is 2016? We were 1776, right? Yes.
Actually, no. Yeah, no. But
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead.
Okay, well, it was because it goes every 60 years, remember? 60,
Oh, right.
repeat. So I couldn't find a Bod's plotter that I can calculate that can go back 1776. So I go, okay, let me just go 60 times, 2 times.
Okay.
That's how I got 2016. And this, instead of July 4th, it's July 6th.
Mm.
I know Western astrology. I pulled up, I was trying to figure out, okay, what is the exact birth chart in the Western astrology? Some says July 4th, and we use July 6th is because July 4th is when they signed the document. But
actually, I'll just, my listeners know how I feel about the July 4th chart, because I'm also a political analyst, and we honestly weren't a country till 1783. But go with this. Let's go look. Anyway, right, go ahead.
No, let's just go with July 6th. Okay. When we use it, we use July 6th because July 6th is actually, that's the day when the news of independence is spread among the people. Okay, so Chinese astrology chart, I forgot to tell you this, Chinese astrology chart, we actually count the 9 months you're in your mom's tummy.
Okay.
Chinese, I say they're definitely pro-life because of that. So we have, basically when we go through, so like, for example, we call it like your age this year is say 60, but according to the Chinese Bazi chart, you're actually 61 because they actually count the 9 month that you're, that you are inside your mom's tummy. So let's just look at these charts. So US, the year is Yang Fire Monkey. Okay. And this year, 2022, it's Water Tiger, Yang Water Tiger. Okay. So this is what's going on. Yang Water and Yang Fire clashes.
Yeah.
Okay. Monkey and tiger clashes. All right. So when there's clash means, I don't want to put fear in people, mean changes. That's literally what it means, is changes. And for a country, the year represents the international political environment. The month represents the political environment within the country, and the day represents the citizens. That's how we read the country budget chart. If we read this as a normal person, we would read the year as their social circle, their families, and the industry, the business they're in. And the month will read it as their career, also the relationship with their parents, and the day is themselves and the relation with their spouse.
Cool.
That's how we read it. But because if you think about transferring it, like the country, the citizen is like the relationship, right? So it's kind of like this. It is like that. So so when this year changed, there is a lot of changes in US because of, look at how much tiger we have in the 2022.
Right. Yeah.
With tiger year, tiger month, tiger hour.
Wow.
Okay. And even the rat and the horse clashes as well. So there's a lot of clashing stuff going. That means there's a lot of changes in US.
Yep.
In 2022. That's what the chart basically said. So now let's look at Putin and Biden's chart. Look, isn't this funny? When I pulled this chart, I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Look at these guys. Water. He's one in the water year.
Right.
Joe Biden. Putin is also born in the water year. And we are in the water year again. So it's very, very, it's a powerful year. I think they feel like they have, how would I say, they're right. They each individual think they're right. That's right. Because they have the extra water. They have the extra water. And they think they're right. And the difference is in the style and the personality of the person. If you look at Putin, we have what we call the 7K, 7 killing. 7 killing is more like a rebel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's gonna do whatever it takes kind of person.
Yeah.
Whereas the DO, which is what we call direct officer, which is the exact opposite
Mm-hmm.
of 7K.
Mm-hmm.
So a direct officer, it's one who follows rules, who's very systematic. Think of one is like a police, one is like a thud. Okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
basically the
Yeah.
different style. And also, if you look at in his career palace in Vladimir, in his career palace, he's got the HO. Okay. What we call that is a herding officer. That
Mm-hmm.
is someone who it's more like a showmanship, it's
Mm-hmm.
very much like flamboyant kind of, things like that. And versus Biden, he's a what we call IW, indirect wealth. That's the type of person more like into long term, into investment, see more, not like right now. So
Mm-hmm.
just looking at the two chart, Joe Biden is a more conservative person compared to Putin,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
from the personality. And also, if you look at Putin, his day master is a yang fire. Think of yang fire is like the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It is there to inspire the mass.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Joe Biden, the yin fire. Yin
Mm-hmm.
fire is like candlelight. It's like a flashlight. Yin fire is the type of person who would like to inspire people individually.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's how he is. That's how I think. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't really follow politics, like
Right.
what kind of personality Joe Biden is, but to me, I have a feeling he care about people individually. He really
Mm-hmm.
wants to help people on the individual level.
Right.
And versus the other one is just like, you need to follow me. I'm the sun. I'm shining on you. So that is
That's really fascinating.
that's just kind of like the personality thing,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I don't have the hour, but
Yeah.
so I can't really tell what the hour is. But yeah. See, now
Interesting.
for Putin this year, he had the dragon. Dragon is going to be a tough year. Dragon is going to have a tough year. Dragon. They don't have too much auspicious stars, and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I mean, he's kind of having a tough year in his work, I guess. If you call his country is his work, that is his work,
Yeah. Yeah.
And what we have here is the with the tiger and the horse, they combine and create more fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think he really want to more inspire people, really want to. I know Joe, from what I can see in this chart, he's coming from a place he really want to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who he is. He really wants to do that. And but as I say, it's it's an interesting year.
It is an interesting year. Yeah.
It's looking at some of these things. It's like the rooster have a I can't remember the exact, but it's one of the power star in the work. So Putin is looking for power.
Yeah.
Okay, this year in his work, that's what he's looking for. He's looking for power, and versus Joe Biden, he's gonna. There might be tiger and pig is what we call harm. A harm is or a combine. It's really weird. It's a combine and a harm at the same time. So when there's a harm happen, there's betrayal. So there might be betrayal in his work. Somebody that's close to him.
There's a lot of negotiations happening. So it's easy to see those go south.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if I just say, okay, this is what a normal person's chart would be like. This is your hour. It represents your idea, your dreams, your hopes, and your investment. And your relationship with with your children's, you know. And in Joe Biden's case, it could be his subordinate, who people that under him. Yeah, but
Right.
I can't. I don't have the I don't have the privilege of the real hour.
Oh, I can get that for you. I have his birth chart.
You do?
For
Okay.
Western astrology, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I need the local hours, so I can plug it up. Yeah. So for let's talk about feng shui. I know lately people have been saying, oh, people always say, let's activate my wealth corner. Activate your wealth corner, and I keep reminding people. I go, just because you activate your wealth corner, that means yes, you get more opportunity.
Yeah.
But if you are an employee, when you have more work, doesn't mean you get more pay. If
right.
Business owner, yes, you get more work, you get more pay.
Right.
But the whole thing with good feng shui is basically is align the heaven, earth, and the man energy. Get them all aligned together so they work harmoniously. You can have the heaven like, oh, this is a fabulous years. Oh, you're in the great, we do the feng shui activation for your house. And then the man take no action.
Right.
Right. That is one thing. I think you found me when I did that last year when I did that video on no more feng shui trinket.
Yes.
I think that's how you found me.
That is how I found you. That was the best one. I was like, that is exactly true. I'm no expert, but metaphysically, it's kind of universal. You align your desire and then your actions. You line your actions up with the desire. You don't just sit and wait for stuff, like, okay, when's it going to happen?
Yeah, I know. You have no idea. I have clients that just kind of expect that, well, if we do the water activation there, I go, yeah, but you know what? If you don't follow up with the sales call, if you don't follow up with what you need to do to increase your business, remember, feng shui is meant to enhance what you have.
Right.
Okay? It's going to meant to and depend on if we're doing short-term feng shui or long-term feng shui. Okay. Long-term feng shui have to do with the landform. Literally is how the mountains, where the mountains are, where the river, how the river flow and all that stuff. It takes a long time. It really is long term. It takes a long time. It takes a few years for it to really to come through. Right. Whereas short-term feng shui, which I practice a lot more because nowadays people want instant result, right? Right. There we go. Oh, I want to know exactly, I'm like, okay, well then what I base on those are what we call the flying stars. And that's what I use that's why I say, okay, so this year, the wealth corner is actually in the northeast. Okay. But depend on if you're an employer or an employee. If you're an employee, I would say use the northwest. Use that so that way you become indispensable to your job. I mean, I think what job security is right now, I think it's kind of important in nowadays still, but
right.
It's just, yeah, I know. To me, it's like when you say you want more wealth, what are you looking for? That's the key question, right?
Right.
What are you looking for? Are you looking for more sales lead, better brand recognition, or what?
You have to understand what wealth is and what it means, because just having a pile of cash, that dwindles. It's not real wealth. That's why people teach wealth retention, right?
Yeah. Like people say, oh, I want investment wealth. I want investment wealth. I go, okay, maybe we should activate your academic stars so you can have better knowledge.
Yeah.
So you can make better decision, right? Yeah. That will lead to better investment decision. Right. That will increase your investments wealth. I mean, that's why it's all people, the problem is, I think people don't really know what they want. They go, I want wealth. Okay, there's actually 9 different kind of wealth. There's the wisdom wealth, there is your health wealth, there is your relationship wealth, there's of course your work wealth, and then your investment wealth. There's so many way of wealth, the definition of wealth.
Absolutely.
So that's,
Absolutely.
I mean, once people really know what they want, then it's easier. It's
Exactly.
easier to, if I know, like if you come into doctor, I have a headache, like, okay, what, take 2 aspirin, call me in the morning.
Right.
Okay, what caused the headache, right? What causes it?
Exactly.
Is it your pillow too hard that, it's
Right.
straining your neck, or are you on the computer too long? You in awkward
Right.
position? What's causing your headache? You need to fix it.
Right.
So, yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Now
Yeah.
sorry, that reminded me of jokes like, doctor, I have a headache. No, my eye hurt. Why should I hurt? Well, this straw keep poking into my eye.
Right.
Well, don't use that straw then when you drink your whatever.
Right, exactly. And that's why like in Western astrology, the second house, most people think of it as finances, but it's honestly about security and value. And money is just the result of having that lined up. It's actually about self-love and self-worth, because the more worthy you are inside, the more you can attract. And that doesn't get taught enough in Western astrology. But I love that it's addressed in Botsy, it's a much wider perspective.
Yes.
And it's important to understand that, because most manifestations, and it just means to shape with your hands. That's what the word manifest means. Mani is hand. To shape with your hand. They take time. You could throw a pot today, you still have to put it in a kiln, You're not going to be able to drink out of the mug out of fresh clay,
I know. People just doesn't understand. They just think like, oh, activate the wealth. That's it. That's all I need to do is activate wealth.
Yeah,
Nothing.
yeah.
Put a money tree. I mean, you have no idea how many comments or message I get. Oh, what can I put in the wealth corner? I'm like, put yourself there.
Right. When you said that, I caught a video of you saying that, and I realized in my other space where I was living before this house, my chair was in my wealth corner, and that's where I was doing my videos. I don't know where it would be for this year. You said the Northeast, so that's my bedroom with my favorite lamp, and I have a minor altar there, and I didn't know, but that's where I set my altar when I moved in. How crazy. And I sleep next to it.
I think the longer you practice metaphysics, you're more intuitive. Because you're more in tune with the energy, basically.
Yeah, with the flow.
Yeah, with the flow. So you just kind of know where to put them.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely. And again, I just want to remind our listeners, for the visuals, you want to go to the description in the podcast, and I'll have Auntie Amy's lovely link to her YouTube, my links to my stuff. Come visit us, see us. Auntie Amy, you do consultations, correct?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes,
Absolutely.
I do.
So, and what do those look like? Are they like for everything, like career, or what would I book you for?
Well, I actually like to start people with the gifts and talents. To me, that is important to know. You are given the treasure map. Your bazi is your treasure map. You need to know, like, okay, what kind of tools I need? What do I have already? What can I gain? And that's how I always like to start with newbie. I call newbie with the gifts and talents. So that way, to me, I can tell you, these are your special powers. This is what if you really want to make this chart, really make it come to fruition, make it happen. You can change it, and you can make it happen by acquiring these skills along the way.
And I love that. Yeah, I've got a reading like that. Yeah. I call it unlocking your hidden treasures. I love that. Let's sync up. Because it's important for people to know what's good about them. Your deficits. What's good about you.
Yep. Yeah. And and sometimes, it's like with me, it's really funny. I have what we call an artist chart. And all my life, I was told by my parents, it's like being Chinese. Okay, for those Chinese listeners out there, that your parents want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, a CPA, that's what I was groomed to believe I need to be. And I thought I was going to be a CPA. I was 16-year-old. I was like doing payroll for my parents' restaurant and things like that. I thought I was going to be a CPA. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm good with the number. I'm going to be an accountant. Until I got into accounting 301, I'm like, what the heck? FASB? Huh? What? Theories of accounting? Are you kidding me? That is just woo, so boring. And I was taking marketing 301. I'm like, oh, advertising, marketing, so fun. That's
right.
more of
Exactly.
a creative feel for me. And that's, well, yeah. So here I am. It's like, if I would have, I wish my parent would have given me an opportunity to have someone read my chart when I was younger. And then that way I would say, okay, if I would have read my chart as a child, as an adult, I'm reading my chart as a child, I would say, okay, this girl, she is going to be she's going to be a speaker. You need to give her speaking skill. You need to groom her for that. She will be able to do that. That is part of her talent. So you need to do that for her.
Yeah.
But instead, no, I got into numbers.
Right. No, I hear you. Even, in Western astrology, you can see the influence of a family as well as where you're going to be happier. There's a whole lot you can see. And in mine, I was raised, go take on the world, be an executive, go, corporate route or government, either way, I hate working for other people. My chart screams that, like, it's like rebel leader,
Yes.
In fact, Putin and I have sadly a lot in common, but I made a choice not to be brutal and not to be power hungry.
Yep.
It was a choice. And I made it young. I was like 18 or 19 when I made that decision. It was a metaphysical moment, but it was a crossroads. So you always have a choice.
Yep.
And no regrets. But yeah, whenever I look at his chart, I'm like, this dude chose. You can unchoose. You don't have to be a dickhead.
No, there's always the good and the bad side.
Yeah.
And it's like, depending on how you choose the quality,
exactly
of it, it's like with Yang water, it's the good thing is Yang water people are very practical. They have very practical sense about things like that. But bad side of the Yang water is think of Yang water. When water is like an ocean, when it gets bad, it's like a tsunami. That means the Yang water can be like a bully. They can push their way. If they want something done, they're going to push their way through. Doesn't matter what's in the way. They're going to push it through. Yeah. And that's bully. Nowadays, what we call that bully. Back then, hard-headed, whatever you call it.
Right. Yeah. It's powerful and it's a powerful emotional force, and it'll knock people out of the way. That's why I was concerned when I saw it was like water tiger, and I went, oh, I think this year might be a little ornery given the Western astrology. I'm thinking that water, because I always tell people, everybody underestimates Pisces. And I'm like, Pisces is the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, look at Putin and Joe Biden's chart. I didn't even realize until I pulled it up to them, like, oh my God, they both are water in the year.
And they both have a lot in their Western charts too. And they actually I did on my last episode, the episode before the last episode, I talked about their charts a little bit on my podcast. And do a visual. I hate doing I'm a political analyst by training because like you, I went numbers and data sets, but I don't like doing it just because it's hardly ever good news, and I like to give good news.
I try to look at the positive side of things as well. Yeah. I mean, it's like for me, like in my career, my month, I have fire, Yang fire on the top, Yin fire on the bottom. So I am supposed to inspire the mass. I mean, that's why I'm doing the TikTok, right? I'm supposed to do the YouTube. I'm supposed to inspire the mass, but yet with the Yin fire, I help people individually, just like you and I doing these individual consultations, so we can help people individually.
Yeah. I'm a Yin fire too. I'm a Yin fire rooster. I don't remember all my other stuff, but I'm a Yin fire or Yin fire. I know there's Yin fire in my chart, but I'm maybe Yin metal rooster. I don't remember. I got to pull it up again.
Rooster is actually metal. Actually, Yin metal.
Okay, so it's metal. So, but there's Yin fire in the chart.
Okay.
So the Yin metal, but then there's Yin fire as well somewhere in it. I know because I was like, okay, but I don't remember where. Because see, I'm not a Bazi practitioner. I don't have my chart memorized.
That's okay. I mean, I only know I'm a Gemini. That's it. That's all
Right?
I know.
You are such a Gemini too, because I'm just like, my Venus in Gemini is just like totally appreciating your sun. It's more like you just sit there talking. I'm like, she talks so good, because my Gemini loves the talking. I love to talk, but I also love to listen and hear what other people have to say. It's about curiosity.
Yep.
And yes, Gemini gets a bad rap in Western astrology, but honestly, it's a very curious sign. It's a very active intelligence, and that's why you can be a bit of a, like Tinkerbell, you know.
I know my friend go, Amy, what are you in this month now? You were like astrology, and I'm like, yes, I'm still in astrology. Thank you.
Right. I love it. But to be an astrologer of any medium, whether it's Bazi or Vedic or Western, you have to accumulate a lot of knowledge and a lot of experiences in order to interpret. And I just had a young gal in a reading the other day go, you know a lot about a lot of things. And I was like, yeah, that's why that's called being a polymath. It's what makes you a good counsel, and not counselor like a psychologist, but we've always been in Western astrology. We were the council of kings and queens and emperors. We weren't for the common people. And so I think that's why I retranslate things down, because sometimes they don't make sense if you're not like a king or a queen. Not everybody's going to be a king or a queen, and it's okay. We don't really want to be either.
Yeah. It's just like feng shui. You know what? It was not for the commoner. It's for the elite and the kings, and it's for the emperor. It's not meant for common people to use feng shui. Okay. It is not. That's why when my girlfriend told me about Bazi class, I'm like, they teach that? I'm thinking like I have to study under this old guy forever. I don't know, do his cooking and stuff like that, to get the knowledge. No, it's, and it's changed. It is changed so much. It is changed so much from what it used to be. Feng Shui is actually started for grave, because if you bury well, all your descendant will be lucky, will have a fortune. And then they kind of like, oh, maybe we should do it while we're still living. So that's kind of how it spread to the yang house, from the yin house to the yang house,
Very cool.
Yeah. So yes, it is very interesting. I still very much, I just spent a whole bunch of money buying reference book again. So I can like read up more.
That's this much of the astrological library I've acquired over 30 years. It's every professional astrologer I know has walls of, we may not even like the book. We will have the book.
We'll have it.
Because you want to know what other people are saying, and you want to know what, what's going on too. Like, what are other people's beliefs? How do other people see the world? So, well, it was such a joy to have you here and to chat, Bazi. Guys, I really encourage you to go follow Amy on TikTok. She's Ask Auntie Amy on TikTok. I'll have all the links for her in the podcast. She's such a joy, and I love seeing her on my TikTok page. When I look on my FYP, and you do show up on my FYP.
Thank you.
We know how important that is.
Yes, yes.
And you are remarkable. Sorry, I'm still ratty. I have been reading since this morning. It hasn't stopped, and I'm reading through tonight. It's crazy.
I just finished my March newsletter. I have a subscribed newsletter. It's kind of like your Patreon. I have a subscribed newsletter, and I was like last night, I got to get this out before March start, which is like March 5th, and it doesn't start around the 1st. I know people go, it start around, no. And because
is it lunar?
No, solar, but it go by like the first day is February 4th, which is the spring solstice.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So it start like that. It start with that. So it's a little bit off every month. It's off a little bit,
Right.
And and then, but March, there's a lot of activation, wealth activation especially. So that's why I'm like, I got to get it out, make sure my reader can get ready to do wealth activation.
Excellent.
That is important. It doesn't come around that often. And so that's the March issue is important. So that's
all right, you guys
Cut it out.
hear that. My listeners hear that. Everybody go sign up for Amy's newsletter. So I'm going to.
All right.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I want to thank you and we'll talk later.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.